Welcome to Tuesdays with Entegra Coach. Today's episode we're going to be talking about our water softener prep that we have installed starting in 2025 on all of our diesel pusher models. So we wanted to give you a little idea of how that's set up, how that's hooked up. So if we start right at the front, it is in the driver's side compartment, door number 1. That's the first cargo area behind the front axle. And we have a small plate there that has the water inlets on it. So there's a water softener in, or WS in, and a WS out. The water softener in is actually the feed that's coming to the water softener. The water softener out, that WS out, is what's going back into our system. So you could put in anything you wanted to there, whether you're using a canister water softener or whether you're using an osmosis system. Any kind of water filtration or anything can be just installed there. We just put the easy in and out. So give you a couple of variations that we've had. Originally, when we started this, we actually had all the valves for this particular hookup inside the wet bay. So that would be your driver's side door 5. That would be all the wet bay area. You'd take out the removable panel and look straight up on the left-hand side, just to the right or the rear of the water pump. We had 3 valves there right at the top of that compartment. That was the original setup that we had going. Was all 3 valves were there, and we kind of thought about that and really didn't make a whole lot of sense to have all 3 of them there. So we started doing a variation of putting valves right at the inlet so that you had easy access right there while you were there. If you had to change a filter or anything, you had easy access to turn those on and off right at that water softener hookup or your purifier hookup, whichever you choose to use. So that was the second revision. So we'll just give you the inlets here, water softener in and out. And then when we get to our revisions, this was that second revision that we went to where we had 2 valves at the hookup, so right behind it, that was closing off the inlet and the outlet. And then the 2 valves that are on the right-hand side, those are the low point drains. So that's important if you had to winterize or you were going to be winterizing your coach. You want to make sure that you open those drains and drain that entire system out. If we're leaving any water lines in there and that coach is susceptible to freezing, you could freeze those lines. That just runs right through our basement frame rails. So we want to make sure that you have those winterized in the event that you're going to have that in cold weather. So that's the first variation there. And then since we just have the 2 at the inlet and outlet, we put the bypass valve in the wet bay. So this one's kind of hard to see in the photo that I have, but inside that photo, it's going to be up on the right-hand side. You can see the water pump in the background, just forward of the water pump. All the way up at the top, there is a valve there that kind of, if you see the orange wire with the green tape, that orange wire with the green tape is actually right on top or hiding that valve, just back a couple inches. That would be your bypass valve, so you would want to shut that off so that the water would be forced to go up to your water softener or purifier setup, whichever you choose to do up in the front bay. So then we fast forward a little bit and we thought, well, why would we have 2 areas that we need to have those shut-off valves? So we did go ahead and move all 3 of those valves to that front cargo area. So all the access to that system is right there in that front cargo area. Now, we've seen a couple customers that have put in a purifier system there and have 3 or 4 canister filters up along the wall. They can mount that right there. And we've seen some customers that just put that single canister water softener in. Either way, that's an option for you guys. We wanted to make this available for you so that you have that extra purification, that extra filtration to your water system. So with all of that being said, in the floor of that compartment there is a kind of a cutaway flip-up door with a little notch in it. That is for if you have a system that has a drain or anything, or has an overflow, like the emergency overflows that are on some of those systems. There's just that extra pipe that you can put right down into that, and it goes down into the ground. So that's a way to escape that out of the coach so it's not getting, or if it overflowed or something happened, it wouldn't be leaking all over. Now, I have seen a couple customers that have bought a little pan, and you can buy a pan similar to what we have underneath our washer, kind of that water pan. You could put that in there. It's just another layer of protection there. And you can make a drain system that goes right into that port that we put into the floor that would go out into the ground. So if anything did leak there, it would be going out onto the ground. So that's kind of that water softener setup. Now I do want to mention as well, here in the last few months, when we talk about the filtration of our water system, we've always had for many, many years, we've always had the whole house filter, that cartridge filter that's in your wet bay. And then we had off to the right-hand side, we had a smaller filter, which was a 1 micron filter. That solely went to your refrigerator and your drinking water. So here in the recent last few months, we have made a change to that, and a newer coach on a new 2026, you will not see that secondary 1 micron filter on the right-hand side. Instead, we've gone to a complete whole house filter, and we've eliminated that second filter only because our new whole house filter is actually a 1 micron filter. So keep that in mind when you buy your new Entegra, that 1 micron filter there is going to be filtering out a lot of stuff, and you may see that the timing on that filter change, where it's recommended for 6 months or 3 months, may be a little sooner depending on what water you're getting into, what kind of water you're bringing into the coach. And we all know those campgrounds, they vary. The grade of water you're getting depending on where you are in the United States or in Canada. Some of those water variations will make a difference, and so just be cautious of that when we're hooking up those extra systems, or we're putting that water softener in, or now that we have the new 1 micron filter there, that cartridge filter. Just be cautious of that, and understand that will start to take the flow of water, kind of lower that down a little bit in your coach. So just keep that in mind. If you start getting a low water pressure, make sure we're checking all the filters. If we've added a water softener, if we've added any kind of filtration system there, all of those things take a part in how much water pressure we're getting in the coach. Now, when we say that, you also have to understand that the water filtration, when it comes in, it's all going to depend on what kind of filters you're using. If you get that in, and the reason I'm saying this is because anytime you fill your coach up, let's just play the scenario. We hook up to our campsite, we're getting ready to travel, we're going to fill up the fresh water tank because we're going to be traveling for the next 7 or 8 days. Here's what you need to understand. When that water goes into the system, it goes into the inlet through our hose there, our powered hose we have, goes into the inlet, it goes to the whole house filter, that cartridge filter. From there, it's going to go up to your water softener, or if you choose to put another filtration system there, it goes through there. If you turn the valve on your wet bay, on that wall that goes to tank fill, the water still goes from the inlet to the cartridge to the softener, then to the tank. So the reason why I'm telling you, you might have to be watching out for that, and that this might be quicker intervals that you're changing your filters, is because once you pull from the water tank, so we're done, we're on the road, now we're using the water out of our water tank. When you turn the pump on, you open a faucet, that water comes from the tank to the whole house cartridge filter, back through your water softener or your extra filtration system before it ever goes out to your faucet. So essentially, if you are using your fresh tank a lot, you are filtering and softening that water twice before it actually gets to the faucet. So just keep that in mind. That could shrink the intervals of when we need to change those cartridges. So just wanted to make sure that we all understand how that operates. So I hope this has been helpful. I hope that you're enjoying our series of Tuesdays with Entegra Coach, and plan on coming back and seeing us next Tuesday for another episode.